This video, I will discuss easement, rights in another person's land, another's land or another person's land. Now, so there are two lands involved, but of course there is another type of easement called easements in groves. So I will explain. Now, there are two types of easement. Now, first of all, easement is a land right. So there are two such land rights. Now, the first one is easement appurtenant, meaning a right owned by one owner over another land, which is neighboring land. Another one is easements in groves that will be owned by public utility company against the owner. So this category of easements will have no two lands involved and all that. So basically, it's laying cable, laying pipes and all that. So we will have a very short discussion on that. So easement appurtenant being easements on land, on another person's land, which is a bigger topic. So, okay, now in easement appurtenant, there are two parcels of land involved, only two, not more than that. So therefore, there will be one that will be enjoying the right, then there will be another that will have to subject themselves to the right. So now, the one is called dominant tenant, the other one is called servient tenant. Then what is tenant? Tenant refers to the body of rights and obligation over land. So make it very, very clear already. That means the body of rights will include the right to use the neighbor's land. Then the other neighbor, the body of rights will have the obligation whereby they have to let the neighbor use their land or subject to a certain restriction. Now, dominant tenant rights to use another land, such as a driveway. Of course, it can also be a restriction. So I'll explain later. Now, servient tenant means obligations. One of the obligation inside the body of rights. Now you have this obligation to allow, to let, or to permit the other side owner, not just one owner. Okay, so is anybody living legitimately next door, so they can use your land. So that will be servient tenant. Servient tenant. Now, easement in groves, like I say, the rights owned by public utility companies against land. So there's no dominant or servient tenant. All right, so this is for the public utility company to come and lay pipe cable drain sewerage for servicing. So sometimes they will have to do work, okay, that either encroach on your land or what, but they have the right to lay the pipes underneath your land. Now let's focus our attention more on easement appurtenant. So there are two types of such easement. One is called positive, to allow, to let, to permit the owner of the neighboring land to use land. Okay, so usually as a driveway, but can also be footpath. Negative easement is to restrict or to limit the usage of the neighboring land. So you will have height restriction, for example, right to light. Later, all this will have samples to show you, and right to scenery. Now, so example of negative easement. Okay, so right to light, a height restriction. So I don't know whether you can see the example clearly. Say, for example, in Telok Kurau, for example, in the past, not now, because now you will see a lot of low-rise apartments already plenty in Telok Kurau estate. But say some years ago, maybe 20, 30 years ago, when there are fewer such apartments, you'll find that two bungalow owner, they may have this kind of restriction. They may impose the right to light against the neighbor. So effectively is a form of height restriction. Now, today, I don't think you can go into this kind of restriction because the entire landscape already quite a lot of low-rise apartment. So you may have a bit of problem enforcing it. But now we just purely just based on textbooks knowledge. So you will find that if you have an easement to say that, okay, you cannot build so tall. You can build only 2-story. So then you enter into a deed and you register the deed. Now go find the video where I say that if you register your deed, that will become a legal interest. If you don't, then that's considered an equitable interest. So all this series of lectures is actually for you to see the overlapping areas. And of course, each video seeks to clarify a specific concept. Now, another example of negative easement, now that will be Botanic Garden easement, the right to scenery. Now, just superimpose these two skyscraper into the you know, two skyscraper into the picture of the Botanic Gardens. Now, so how does it look? A UNESCO asset, that means a World Heritage asset. And then when you go there to take picture, okay, you can see the skyscraper all behind the scenery. No, that won't do. That won't do, right? So that's why you will find that the national park, that the national parks is a stat board that they will take up this kind of easement against you know, high-rise building from spoiling the scenery of the UNESCO asset. Now, easement, how is easement created? Now, so I got this graphic here. You know, I always in my class, I always say that you know, there are people who covenant with their neighbor against subdivision of land. So down here you can have an example very clearly. So now the other two side the side bungalow, okay, and this one the side bungalow. Now, so he will be very fed up because why? His neighbor go and subdivide to become 2 smaller bungalows. But of course, in this short video, I'm not talking about this kind of subdivision. I'm talking about the subdivision creating a driveway easement. So you can see the dotted line, the neighbor's car, okay, the dominant tenant, the dominant land, very smart. So, you know, he subdivide the bungalow land, and then he will occupy the inner land, and then he let the neighbor build the driveway. So, and then easement is created because he's landlocked. He's landlocked. So now, then the Serbian land will have to allow the neighbor to drive through his land because this is a land right. So you cannot say that you disagree. No way you can say that you disagree. So that is the problem. That is a problem. Now, so now there's Greenchide condo, the dispute. You can see now the picture nearest to me. There's a dirt track, right? So that is what this old gentleman, when you point to that gate, when you open up that gate, you will see this coming in from the main road. Okay, but the easement has been extinguished. How so? Why extinguished? See, this one will show you. It has been extinguished. Now, so the orange color is the easement in question. And then you can see a River Valley Road down here at lower part of the slides. So because I think by year 2006, a new road has been opened. So the people in the condo who are affected by the dispute, eventually they come in and out from River Valley Road. So then the court say that, like that you're not landlocked. You're not landlocked anymore. Okay, so they extinguish. The court extinguish the easement altogether. So, okay, so I have touched on the various different types of easement, and I also touch on creation and cancellation of easement. So go find the other short videos on equitable interest lah, on other type of land right. Okay, so there's a lot of overlap. So I hope that this series of video can help you clarify your doubts. Thank you very much.